Hello, 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 everyone. I'm Dasha Jameson with Red Rock Pastel Society of Nevada, and today I'm happy to invite everybody to our fall meeting featuring demo by Stephie Clark. Please bear with me during our presentation. We're gonna talk about upcoming events and things what we're planning to do, and after that we will all enjoy Stephie. So very happy to see everyone here. If you can mute yourself for remaining, and we will have chat time. If you have question or have something to add, please do so. You can keep your video on if you don't mind to be on recording. And this is image by Stephie, what she's gonna recreate. We have beautiful reference photo what I will share with you in a second, and let me jump back to that. I was trying to let people in. Hello Darlene, hello Anne, and
hello Dasha. I'm trying to mute myself though.
I'm gonna talk first about some events what's coming in Las Vegas and happening right now. And I'm sorry for not shameless plug right here. So me and a friend of mine are presenting Dying Drawing exhibition, including some pastel works. So if you're passing by in Las Vegas in November, we will have that happening. And maybe somebody in the area, I always have questions what you do locally. So that will be a local event, pastel and mixed media both. So we'll be happy to see you guys if you're in Las Vegas, and we will try to share on social as well, on our personal accounts. Drawing sessions locally in Las Vegas by Cheryl. So Tuesday figure drawing sessions are coming back on November 15th. And there are Sunday long poses on October 23rd and 30th. You need to reach out to Cheryl. So if you guys interested in a portraiture and live drawing, please email me. I'll put you in contact with Cheryl. Wonderful opportunity if you want to progress in portrait figure. It's not guided sessions, so but live models, and works here presented by Tatiana Gorbachevskaya, our local Las Vegas artist. She's wonderful. So check out Cheryl and let me know if you're interested. I will put more information about new location on that on the Red Rock account. It's offline events. And now we are all on Zoom from all the different parts of the world and states. Here's Alaska, Australia. Hello from tomorrow, Stephie. Arizona, I see New Orleans. I see more Las Vegas. I see Florida. And I have Sherry from, I don't know you in North Carolina right now, or where? Sherry, can you unmute yourself?
I'm here. I'm in North Carolina now.
In North Carolina, okay. And Sherry is our newest team member with Red Rock. She's and Miss Anne now championing our Facebook group. And we started doing something fantastic. It's Fun Fridays. We would like to spark conversation, and every Friday there are fun little things pop up. So last week we talked about where everybody from. This week we're talking about our favorite master artists. So check out our Facebook group. Please become a member. Don't hesitate to post your artwork there and also join conversation. I'm gonna share our Facebook group in a chat. And hello from upstate New York, hello from Minnesota, Colorado Springs, Cleveland, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. So guys, check out our Fun Fridays, and thank you, Sherry, for doing it. I would like to also present Sherry's artwork, what done by inspiration of one of our national parks, what nearby Las Vegas. When you thinking about Vegas, you're thinking about neon, but you don't think what it's close to major national parks. And this beautiful pastel by Sherry Nordhaus was done at Zion National Park. In addition to being wonderful pastel artist, she's also avid traveler. And if you follow her accounts, Sherry, please don't be shy and put your accounts of what you have in a chat for people to follow. But I love your reels from the different national park you visit and all the pastels, what you're doing afterwards. It's fantastic. So yes, and the website, trailsagefineart.com. Totally check you out, and thank you for being team member. And thank you all for being Red Rock members and supporters. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here.
So let's all
And-
chat. We need to chat on Fridays, girls, fellas.
Yes, please, or I will stalk you in a messenger and make you comment. So, you know, I mean that way. Hello from Rome, Italy. Hello from Washington State. I selected this beautiful pastel painting by Angie as our next slide. And I would like to talk about all things IAPS, and also to thank Anne being team member, and also welcoming all our newest Red Rock members on Facebook page. And here's another thing I would like to talk. If you guys have time and would like to volunteer, right now we are looking for membership chair, because we are about to start our membership drive. And I really would like to add to the team a person who will be helping with memberships. It's a very easy commitment, about hour and a half a week, but you have to work with me as a downside. So if you have that time and desire to help out, please let me know. Shoot email or message. I'm replying all our accounts, Facebook, Instagram. So please shoot me a message if you would like to help. And this is painting by Angie, what got accepted to IAPS 41st Open Division. And guys, please check out all the beautiful pastel paintings what got accepted and won awards. We have many members who are representing Red Rock Pastel Society and other pastel societies what they selected as their home pastel society. Show is till December 31st will be posted on IAPS Pastel website. I'm gonna type IAPS pastel.org website. Maybe with mistake, yes. I need to type to IAPS.org. Okay, yeah, that's a website. Current exhibitions, check out Master Circle and check out Open Division. And some artists confused what's IAPS, what's a membership show, and it's two completely different things. So each society hosting the show, and as a member of Pastel Society, Red Rock Pastel Society, Pastel Society of America, Alaska Pastel Society, you are more than welcome to enter your artwork to exhibitions what hosted by the IAPS, big international organization. And it's where you're submitting your best artwork and representing your pastel society. By doing that, you showcasing yourself as an artist and also earning your points towards your master pastelist. If you've been at IAPS, there is a whole ceremony, and we have our many of our members and friends receiving their medallion, including Tony Allain, who received his eminent pastelis. But not to confuse you, one acceptance to the IAPS gives you 1 point. If you got an award, like our members, Orica and Sergei Petila, Margaret Lorham, Tony Allain, if you guys got an award, you're getting 2 points. So 5 points qualify you for Master Pastelis, and 15 points qualify you to be Eminent Pastelis. And next convention, if you learn 5 points by then, you will receive your medallion. So it's pretty cool thing what I am doing to celebrate all the loyal pastelists. And they keep track of all your points. You just need to make sure you're entering their competitions. They have one online, one offline, they alternate. I believe next IAPS exhibition to enter, to put on your radar, so you have one painting for that, is gonna be in Tucson, and it's in-person show. So just keep an eye on it, and check out iapspastel.org right now for all the beautiful pastels there. We have so many. I don't want to keep you here till tomorrow morning, so we will be at the same day with Australia.
Big piece.
When this is over.
She live.
Congratulations again to everyone who got accepted, and thank you. So here's to Mr. Tony Allain. This is his painting of what got Prix de Pastel, and he won Best of the Best in Master category and got awarded his Eminent Pastel badge last IAPS. So this June, while representing Red Rock Pastel Society of Nevada is his home. And we have something exciting coming up featuring Tony Allain. Please stay tuned. Platinum members and early birds will have notification in the next couple of days soon about upcoming workshop with Tony, also via Zoom. And we have many of his demos and workshops available online. Our YouTube channel has several of them, and you can watch them at your time, and also you can purchase a lesson on our website, and all proceeds go towards our educational programming and to the artists. So that's upcoming news, and we are thinking about, like, tell me in the comments if you guys still with me, we are thinking about one exhibition idea. You know, to enter IAPS show, to enter member show, you do need to enter your own work, but based on your own material, not done in a class usually. So, but what if you're producing beautiful work while learning with master? What to do about that, and you still want to showcase? So we are thinking for maybe in the next couple of months, for online show from works done in your classes with Sir Tony Allain. We are still talking all the details, but just to keep an eye on it. Let me know what you think, like, is it a good idea or no, but we hope you will enjoy, and it's something fun what we are working on, and please stay tuned. And now to our special guest, Stephie Clark. She's gonna demonstrate for us. We will have her using that reference photo. I'll be able to share it on the screen at the parcel. She has it as a split screen on her thing. So I'll also send it in a chat so you can save it. And if you are following along, please share it later, or just sit back, relax, and enjoy. Okay, thank you so much. I almost forgot something, but that's something what Stephie will be using, and she has a surprise for you. I will show this slide later, but she just had beautiful set of pastels released and named after her. And for everybody outside of Australia, there is 20% discount on those luscious pastels. So you can use Floral 24 and it's J. Luda pastels. So I will put it in the chat later and to remind you sometimes during the demo, but this is a wonderful promo code. Usually we have 10% on some things, but this is awesome. It's 20% off. Yeah, Jan from Myrtle, not Myrtle Beach, I've been in Myrtle Beach, from Polly Island, South Carolina. Yes, she had them. I was so jealous. Look beautiful. And I will show. We'll show them a little bit later to remind you. So now I'm finally stopped rambling, stopping share. I need to spotlight for everyone Stephie, and let me put Stephie also on the screen so she can say a couple of words. Let me add spotlight. Hi, Stephie.
Hiya. Oh. Hey, hey. Oh, goodness. Can you all see me, hear me?
I can hear you and see you.
Ah, perfect. Perfect. So, are you ready for me to? Hi. Alrighty, so today we're going to have a little soiree through a little bit of a spring summer field. While you guys, all your gardens are starting to close down, ours is just starting to come out and really show themselves. It's spring here, so I'm very excited. It's just lovely. It's a beautiful time of year. Although in my brain, I'm really confused about what season it is, because I spent 4 weeks in America and then 4 weeks in France. And it was so hot and summery. And then I came back and we've had 6 weeks of winter and now it's spring. So I really don't know where I'm at. But I'm happy to share this with you guys today. I'm painting on pastel matte. It is my preferred surface, but I do absolutely love Luxe Archival. I found it about a year ago and I love the texture of it. I adore how it holds the pigment, but it's quite a different look. If I want a lot of texture in a painting, I go to Luxe, but my absolute love is pastel matte. And I always paint, regardless of whether my backgrounds are dark or light, I always paint on anthracite pastel matte, but I cover the whole paper, so I really don't think it matters. It's just that this sits nicer with my eyes. And it's funny because Luxe is so white. I mean, if they made it in black or dark, I would buy that for sure. But the white of that doesn't worry me. But if you put a piece of white pastel matte in front of me, I get like PTSD. I just get a little bit nervous. And I don't know why that is, but with the Luxe, it's fine. So I don't know how much you want me to tell, Dasha. I started painting 11 years ago. Prior to that, I absolutely could not paint, draw, had no interest in it at all. I'm an avid gardener, which is where my love of florals comes from. I'm self-taught. I painted for 4 years on my own because I knew what I wanted my paintings to look like. Even though they morph, I think they morph every 6 months. But yeah, I had my first class in 2015, and I've taken very few classes just recently, like during COVID, of course, when we were all locked up. It was nice to do a lot of Zoom classes. So I've really enjoyed sort of stretching my boundaries that way. Every year I do 30 paintings in 30 days just to expand my horizons. But I think after each time that I do that, I can see a change in my art. So I hope and pray that I never stop learning, and I hope my art changes dramatically, you know, for the rest of my life. I just love where this journey takes us, and I don't think I'll ever be finished learning. So today I'm just going to show you my process, okay? This is how I've worked out, whilst you know the basics, I've worked out how I want my art to look. And my process works from painting from the back to the front. So when I look at a photo like this, I peel off all those flowers, and I'm interested in that out of focus background. I really want to pump up the backgrounds, make it really to create a lot of depth. I'm looking at 3 or 4 different planes to do that. Now, pastel mat serves me beautifully, because when I start putting pigment on pastel mat, I can push it into the paper, and that gives me that romantic, you know, gentle, out of focus look. I have a lot of very favorite darks. Well, I have 4 favorite darks. So I have Sennelier 179, Sennelier 463, and to my way of thinking, I start always, and I teach that I start darker than I think I need, because if I want a bit of drama, you've got to have the depth of color. So this is lovely and cool. So I reckon I could get it, because I've got pink flowers in there. So I'll just show you my colors. This is 463, and then everybody's favorite, Eggplant from Terry Ludwig. So I reckon I could probably get away with just a little bit of that in there as well, just to create some depth. Now, what I do like is when I am painting, please ask questions as we go along, because if you're thinking about a question, there's a very good chance someone else in the group is as well. So please don't feel no question is a silly question, I guess is what I want to say. Now, there's a little bit of purple there. I'm just going to go up with a Sennelier purple as well. I really love that. So just creating and pushing back in some of my beautiful darks. I give it a nice good rub in. Now, I don't know, and I know this for a fact because one of the pastel mat representatives told me, but pastel mat looks, under a microscope, it looks like Velcro. So my theory is, while I'm doing all this, I'm pushing all that beautiful pigment into those little hooks, and it's holding it beautifully, which then allows me to come over with a lighter value to create depth. Okay, but when I do a dark, I use a minimum of 2, so it's either 1, 2, or, you know, whatever combination depending on what I'm painting. Sometimes I also use a little bit of umber, and my favorite umber is a little bit of Diane Townsend. It's just gorgeous. So I do pop a little bit of that in from time to time, probably just where I can see a little bit of yellow, because it's yellow base. So I'm kind of looking at the background going, where do I want this? Normally I paint right to the edges, but for today, because we don't want to be here, like you say, we don't want to be here all night and all day. I don't want to meet you in the morning. I'm just doing 8.5 by 9.5, just so that I paint pretty fast. So I can usually do a 30 by 40, which is, I think, is your 15 by 11, maybe something like that. Normally I can paint that in about an hour, but anyway, I thought I'd just do it nice and small so that we're not taking up too much of your day. So I'm just going to pop in and have a look at where my beautiful darks are sitting, and get them in. There is a little bit of rubbing. Usually what I'm looking at is the light, where the light is coming from. So always for me, the story of the light is super important. So for me, obviously we've got this little chain of daisies that comes down like that, but for me, it kind of zigs and it zags. So it's almost going voot, voot. So that's kind of where I want your eye to focus on as I'm doing this painting. But yeah, I do kind of work out at now where my light is coming from, where the lightest light is and where the darkest dark is. So I guess I'm making decisions based on that. Once these beautiful darks are all in and doing their thing, I can then hit it with just a little bit of a lighter value and start going, I think I like a little bit of that blue in there or the dark in there or whatever. So for me, the light is kind of, you know how I said I want it to sort of float down like this. For me, there's a little bit of light. So I'm just going to hit that blue with just a kiss of light here. So honestly, I take as much time in my background as I do with the actual subject, because for me, it's just as important. And I was going to say, I usually paint right to the corners of my paper. I fill up every inch of my paper. My framer doesn't like it, but that's just the way it goes. And I really do just love to address that light first up. So I can see a little bit of that lovely, cool kind of blue in there. Then I'm sort of going to just smatter it. So I'm almost just, you know, giving myself a bit of a map on where things sit. So I know that if this little blue bit in here is where, just to the left of that is where I want to put that beautiful daisy. So I use my light as, I feel like sometimes it's like art orienteering for me. I set myself waypoints, and then, you know, sometimes I don't stick to that, obviously, because sometimes you just get a little gift from the pastel gods and you have to take those gifts. And so there are times where I'll put down a stroke and I think, oh, wow, that is really good, but that's just sent that flower that way rather than that way. So let's adjust it. So, you know, we have to make evaluations on our art as we go. I use my reference photo as just that, just a reference. So at this stage, I use it for the shape of the flowers. Sometimes I might put this little one here down here. So I change it around. Now, I reckon I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to start. I usually always start in the top because this is small. I've gone right to the bottom, but usually I start. It's somewhere up the top, and I don't usually fill the background in. If you've ever watched on my reels, you'll see me run out of space, and then I have to quickly put the bottom of the background in so that I can keep going with my painting, which is a little frustrating, but that's how it is. Now I'm just going to start popping in some mark making. So this is my most out of focus because this painting is, I'm just grabbing some colors here, because this field is kind of, it is some a little bit out of focus and some a little bit not. I'm just going to come in and make a few marks, sort of push a few things in and around. So I'll come in with a couple of different values, and this is where I start going, well, I want some hard edges and some soft edges. So I'm sort of just addressing these lights across the top. And, you know, they're not super light. I kind of want to bring in some suggestions of this, that, and the other, just because they're in the background, and you know, I can kind of start moving a little bit of, that's probably a little bit too light. So I'm going to use like some darker sort of greens to start making some marks over the top of my dark. And this is where I will just kind of just mark making, really. It's just a bit of fun filling in the gaps. Now, I do see my very, very favorite color in the whole world is this beautiful blue. I don't mind who makes it. I'll use any kind of any brand, but I love this periwinkle. It's absolutely beautiful. So that one was a Sennelier, one's a Jack Richardson. But you know, you get them in all sorts of, I'll just put a blue next to it so you can see how it's really purple rather than blue. It's just a good, just a couple of values in there. I'm not quite picking up that right value, that correct value. So I might just go a little darker. That's a bit blue, but anyway, we'll pop that in as a bit of a shadow. See these shadows, these out of focus shadows in the background, kind of just mess that in there. Now let's just go in with a few, I just want to go in with a few little marks just to create some foliage and some flowers and whatnot. And then we can come in with some more in focus detail. So I might just start over here. Just feel like I need a couple of darker greens, just some nice, that's pretty much the same. And I don't know about you guys, but greens are something that you can never, ever, ever, doesn't matter who you are, you can never find the correct green. So I'm just going to move a little bit of this around. Stroke direction is super important. The, you know, very light touch over a lot of my dark background. You know, you won't see it, but it's just nice to have that gentle, it's nice to have that gentle sort of feel in there. Now, I'm just going to start constructing a couple of these little pink daisies. So always start super dark, and I'm just going to get a little bit of detail in there. Is there any questions? You guys are you all there, or have you all gone home? A bit boring.
Guys, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself, say your name, ask your question.
Please. So now I'm just, when I do a flower, I always start in the middle, because for me, it's super important that the flower has somewhere to go first. So I'm just going to put, and I'm still working not in detail. I'm just sort of still just bringing in the suggestion of flowers, because really these big daisies are where the interest comes in. So I'm just going to just throw a few little darker marks through there, just sort of filling. It's really just filler. It's filling in the gaps. Making some marks, really checking my values against one another. So just a nice little bit of, I'm just going to pop in a little bit of a daisy here. Always start darker than I think I need. But at this stage, I don't want any detail. I just want to put in, you know, maybe a couple of little suggestions. And this is where I start looking at where the light is coming. It's super lovely and light down up here. So I need to kind of address that as I go on. Some of these lines are a bit hard, so we're just going to pull them back a little. There we go. That's better. Okay. Now, I do love just the mark making too. I think the beauty of pastel is in the marks that we can make. Now I'm just looking at where there's a few little pinks, just to give me a little bit of a guide on where I'm going and what I'm going to do when I get there. There's a couple of nice little dark ones over here. Nice little dark down here. And I reckon I just need a stroke of that yellow. What do you think? That lovely bright yellow in here. I have some, you know, there's as with all of us, we have our favorite combinations. One of my favorite combinations is mustard and pink. I just think anywhere you see that in nature is absolutely beautiful. And it's a lovely thing to replicate in our art. Now, hold on, I haven't got my glasses on, so I'm trying to do shape and color, and I'm just going to bring up that value just to start bringing your eye up into where this light is, okay? Because then I can paint on top of that I can paint these gorgeous daisies. I do need to get just some lovely dark marks in here. So back to my 179 and my 463 to really create some of these beautiful marks, okay? Now, there's some going this way, some going that way, but some out of focus, some in focus. Any questions? No?
There is a question
Yeah.
from Jerry Greenberg. Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Jerry.
Stephie, please tell us how you keep your lights from getting muddy since you're out down that dark background first.
Yeah, it's all in. Don't touch them. It's all in about working from dark to light. That's what it's about. You can blend and you can go crazy here, but don't go back in. Don't touch it. Once we're coming from out, like this is the last time I'll touch those particular colors. Now I'm just going to show you. I'll just start putting in one of the big ones, and this will sort of demonstrate what I'm trying to say is, like I've got all these the deep dark background, it's pushed into the back, it's not moving. And then I've come along with some, mid-tone greens, and I will, once I've got those mid-tone greens in, I can then paint on top of them. But it's really all about what you touch and what you don't touch. Because once we go in and leave a mark, there's the vibrancy of the pastel is not compromised. So that's really where to me, that's really where the magic happens. So this one here is in the shade. I'm just going to, it's a little out of focus, but I'm just going to show you how you can just put the pastel on top. And also, I guess, using these, my background pastels are quite dry. Like I don't use the Blue Earth and ones like that. They're not the super soft ones. I use Art Spectrum Extra Soft. You know how our pastels have either a buttery, creamy feel, or they have I've got to learn to talk without my hands so that I can keep painting. So by using the softer pastels on top, I can then just they overlay beautifully, no problem at all. So that one's a little bit out of focus. So I'm just going to push it back maybe with a cool grey over the top and just give it a little bit of a, okay, let's have a little look. We'll get a bit of a, and I'm just suggesting at this stage, I don't want too much detail. He needs to be a little bit out of focus. At this point, I don't rub, I just touch it back. And then to push it right back, I can then bring, some stalks and whatnot over it. And that is giving me that, that full effect of depth. I think that's how I create my depth anyway. So I'm just going to pop this little one here in. So I'm just going to pop here in. I haven't got my lightest greens in there yet because I need to know the values first that I'm going to use. So it is something that I assess all the way through. So you can see here how, already there's probably 5 or 6 layers, maybe even 7 or 8 layers on that paper. But I can easy with the softer pastels go in, no touching. And if you do want to glaze at this point, or you want to go back in and fix something up, you can easily go back in with another pastel and do that, that change, pop that in. Okay, so just a little bit of light, and this is where we can really tell that story of light. A little bit of light there. There's just a touch. It's a little bit coming toward us. So we'll just give it a little kiss in there with a lighter value. And these are the Art Spectrum Extra Soft Cool Greys. Now, whenever I do, get that right? Whenever I do paint a white flower. It very, very rarely has white on it until I'm ready to come in and show you where the light is. So the light's kind of coming around here, and I will just hit that with 2 or 3 tiny little values of white. And my white is always, always schminky white. It's my very favorite. It's very rarely I'll use a different white. The Art Spectrum Extra Soft cool white is quite, warm white is quite nice. Now, I'm just going to dance a few little flowers over this way, just a suggestion. So I'm going in with something quite, it's a muted kind of color. And I'll just suggest that there might be a little beginning or inside of that flower, maybe even a little bit in the shadows. So again, I'll just come in with that periwinkle, because underneath, inside the depth of my painting, I've used periwinkle. So I'll go back in for harmony in my painting, that I'm just suggesting a little bit of a daisy up there. Does that answer your question? Does that sort of explain why, when, and how? It's just mark making, really. It's just a bit of fun. And just for fun, it's raining again at my house. Okay, so a little bit of pink there, lovely bit of pink there. And already already it's sort of starting to look like a little bit of a field. Now I'm just going to throw some, what do we want? I reckon some of that pink. Normally, I always paint, well, not normally, I always paint with music going, and it seems really weird not to have music going. So if somebody wants to sing, that'd be good. Another thing with my flowers is I paint from the back to the front, even with the flowers. So these little ones here, I'm just looking at them going, well, you know what? I really like that. I'm going to pull in. Now let's go with a nice little yellow in there. So I go with the back of the flower there. Oh, good job. Everybody sing all together now. Trust me, that's the one thing you don't want me to do. I might be able to paint flowers, but I can't sing. The only person I can keep in tune with, and this is a fact, a known fact, is Rod Stewart. So that should tell you something about my singing abilities. Okay. So I'm just going to a little bit of detail. And again, we're just telling the viewer, giving the viewer a little bit of, just a little hint of which way the light's coming in, just by using our values. Now, I do love a really dark middle on my yellows. And my favorite, did I tell you my favorite yellows are Blue Earth? There's the range of the mustardy kind of yellow. And then my very, very favorite, which is a J. Luda. It is the most glorious yellow, and it is just stunning for these little tiny, just this little highlight of yellow where I want the light to sit. Maybe I'll knock that one back a little bit. All right, so let's just get in a few more, just a little bit more movement going on. I can see kind of the light is a little bit blue in here, and this is where my blue, the light of the blue is just sort of starting to, just getting some movement. It's really just lost and found edges, or hard and soft, whichever way you like to say it. It's using our values to create volume. That's all it is. Now I've told you my secrets. That's it. That's all there is to see. That's all I've got. So just moving those pastels around, letting them do the hard work and filling in those gaps. Now I am going to come in with, just to give myself a little bit of an idea. Now these beautiful greens, J. Luda do the most beautiful, this, call it lime, I'm not sure what you'd call it, but look at these. They are super soft, but they just leave the most glorious marks. And because I've used that pink and that high value yellow, I can come in and really start showing where the light is sitting with these gorgeous greens. Now, again, that is something that you have to use sparingly, and you have to check your values before you start. I think you have to check your values before you start planting those sort of colours in there. Now, again, I'm just going to go back to my, nobody's talking. Is anyone there, or nobody's just?
Stephie, everybody here and watching, as Susie said, also Jerry says thank you, and very nice comment from Bob. Watching the pastel marks being made is magical. Stephanie, that touch is amazing to see in action. That's all. So everybody is just captivated.
As long as somebody's there. Otherwise, Dasha, just grab the wine and you and I can have a wine together if everyone else has gone home.
Wine and pastel. That could be
Actually, no, we better not, because I think it's only like 9 o'clock over here, so it might be a little early. Maybe we should just have a coffee. Okay, so I'm just going to bring a little bit of detail in now and just start giving my viewer a little bit of a taste of where things are. So I'm going to just give this one here. I just want to, just underneath this flow, just a little bit of interest. I'm just going to pop a little bud there. You may, in the end, you may not see much of it, but I'm just going to pop a little bit of a bud. Always start darker than I think I need, because it gives me those gorgeous shadows that I'm looking for. And just a suggestion, and trust me, honestly, it's not just me that does these magic marks. It is our pastels. It's the makers of these pastels that give us these little marks that happen. It is just amazing. I love, love, love how we can just manipulate these pastels. It's just makes me so excited. So the stroke direction, again, is super, super important at this stage. I'm just going to pull in a few little marks and you know, kind of capture those wavy, just those gentle wavy little stems here and there, touching them with the light, which will then tell our viewer, this is where the light's going. Giraud pastels, absolutely perfect for these tiny little light marks. The Giraud green set, I bought that at IAPS, and I think it's probably, no, I didn't buy it at IAPS. I bought it in France at the international, not that it matters, but the international exhibition I was in. I bought it down there. But, you know, they looked beautiful for about an hour and a half. And then I did a demo, and they are the most well-loved, let's say. Probably a lot of you would say neglected, because they're not clean, but they are the most well-loved greens in my set, I think. I absolutely adore them. And we can never find the right greens, can we? It's just such a phenomenon. Now I'm going to just pop this little one here in. So you can see how I've made the middle of it, and then I get to overlap some of these. So I want to turn this one. I don't like, you probably noticed there's not one scrap of paper. Actually, I did use one with paper on it, but that's only because I haven't got to undo it yet. I don't like paper on my pastels at all. If I could request that my pastels come unwrapped, I would definitely do that.
That's beautiful.
But apparently I can't request that, so, because I have asked. Okay, let's just put on this side here, I just see just a kiss of blue, like a kiss of that periwinkle under there, just for a little bit of a shadow. I might just come into there. And that really, this is what makes it so easy for us as artists. Whoops, there's a little bit of schminky down in the Now, I don't know if any of you realised either, I don't paint on an easel. I paint directly on the wall. We've sacrificed one wall of my studio for me to put holes into. Now, I just want a little bit of a curve. He looks not quite as feminine as I would like. There we go. So this is what I mean by, you know, our focal flowers, we can really suggest them back here and around, and now it's time to come in and give them a really lovely, lush, detailed look. And, you know, when I say detailed, they're really not that detailed compared to a lot of other people's detail. But for me, this is really, and honestly, don't tell anyone, but I think it's just because I'm super lazy that I don't like detail. So now here we go. Look at that, beautiful. Nice glow yellow, like a nice, almost an orange yellow in that one, just to give it a bit of, I want your eye to go to that, oh, I don't know if I want it that orange though. So I've put down my yellow. Oh, here it is in my hand. There we go. Just give it a nice little voila there, and a little bit of dark. Just bring that dark back up just to create the volume and also to turn that that little daisy around. I want him really looking at the sun. And, you know, at the end of it, I'll often come over with a super highlight, like a, what do they call them? Fluorescent kind of looking pastel. So there's that as well. Now, I'm just going to go through. Make sure you zoom back. That's one of the biggest things. You can really get yourself into trouble if you don't zoom back and you just maybe there's too many of those, but that's okay. We can just kick them back. Let's just kick that back a little bit, pop some marks in. I just want some almost bits of shadows. And you can see I'm not having any trouble with pastel transference. It's not a problem with the darks underneath. For me, it just adds so much beauty. By doing the dark background, I then can add drama by adding my lights over my darks, or in a light area, I can add my darks over my lights. And that also adds depth and drama. And we all love a bit of drama, don't we? In a good way, not the bad drama. We don't want that. And just a few little marks to kind of bring those. I'm checking values with the greens, you know, check your greens, check your pinks, just to make sure that the values are similar, so you're not too off course. And, you know, you assess the whole way. I think it's assess. And I know this is not news to any of you. It's just something that we have to keep in our minds. Now, I really think I would love a little bit of a little tiny white one up there. So you guys all good out there? No questions? I'd like to keep this one just sort of quite abstract, but we'll give it a little bit of light, just so that, you know, all here the light's on our right side. As we go out this way, the light's going to be on our dark side. So I want to keep this, I want to keep this light side, this dark side quite dark over here. Sort of just smush him up over there. All good? And now
fantastic.
Good. Excellent. Now we're going to just pop in a few little, can you see sort of, it's almost like a quiet area just in here. So again, going back to the Giro, I love the gentle little movements. You can use a hard pastel. You can just use a small pastel. I just love the depth of pigment that I get with these Giro. I just want to pop a little bit of light going on, just sort of around here and there. And that gives me something to just kind of dance the darks on as well. So I'll just show you here. I just want to pop a little bit of dark over that. And My darling husband just bought me a glass of water. Isn't he lovely? So looking after me, I couldn't do it without him. I can tell you right now. So I'm just going to put one little flower up in here and changing that direction again. It's just really interesting to change our directions. I think it adds so much interest to our art if we've got things going this way and that way, rather than having everything standing in a line, you know, against a horizon or whatever, just nice and random. It just makes interesting. Again, coming in with those gorgeous softs. But one thing I will show you just here, see, I paint the way that it grows. So what I want to show you is, see how the stem is behind that petal there. This is how, when we observe our paintings, it's important for me to have that addressed before I put any of my petals on, because all that came first. Like which came first, the chicken or the egg? I like to paint which came first, the stem. I paint as it grows. Now I just want to foof that down with a little bit of, just checking that is the right color. Yeah. And then I can come along and I can go, okay, I might just do one that you can kind of see a little bit of the back. And again, these are these beautiful cool grays. A little bit of a cool grey. I might even just kiss. I can see that little bit of purple just there. You guys see that? A little bit of my periwinkle, because it's beautiful. I think you'd struggle to find a painting of mine that didn't have periwinkle in it anywhere. That and 463, my magic blue. I just love that colour. Okay, so now I can come over, and I do love the fact that these kind of overlap a little, but I want to bring, that's way too high, that one. And the best way to do that is not get your finger in there, but just grab a little bit of the background and just push it back. So ideally I would grab just a little bit of 179, which is my lovely dark green, and then, yeah, push that back. It's the best way, I think. Now, it's closer to us, so it's foreshortened. It's kind of coming around the corner there. And I'm not, have a look at this. This is not white. This is a beautiful, a very, very light highlight of my periwinkle. And this one is a Spanish pastel by Mammut. Mammuts, baby mammuts, I think they're called. And they are just beautiful. And I'm not sponsored by them either. I just love their pastels. So a little touch of light just with my schminky over the top. When you see the schminky next to the others, it's again the volume creating the value, creating the volume. All right, now I reckon I should just get a little bit of yellow going on top of these, just a little bit of that orangey kind of. I make them whatever I fancy on the day, really. Now, let's zoom back and just have a look. I reckon we need a couple more of these, just for interest's sake, a couple more of these gentle little buds. I love those yellow and pink buds. If you do think that you've gone a little bit crazy and you've lost your darks, easy enough just to come back in with a few little darks and just push some of those back as well. So I've kind of lost the dark over here. So I'm just going to pop a little bit, just a touch more dark. And it is, you know, my blue, oh, I was going to say my blue and my green, but that's actually blue and blue. And where has my green gone? I put it down on my plate. Now I can't find it. So we'll just put a little bit of this one over that dark. We'll just push that back. And then I might just maybe come in and do a little bit of detail around there. I think I might just bump that up there and push it back, because then I can come in with a deep, deep dark. And I'll do the nice middle. I'm going to do that nice, that dark, really dark. And then I'm going to come out with my values. And again, it's no drama to go over the top and then over the top and then over the top of all these colors. And that's thanks to our pastel mat. That's, to me, pastel mat is just the gift that keeps on giving, because the paper will take, look, honestly, sometimes I can layer 25 to 30 layers of pastel on a piece of pastel mat and still not lose the tooth. Okay, so let's grab a little bit of pink, and I might go up a value because we're kind of in a bit of a pink area here. Painting those little back ones first. And then we might come over with a little bit of the yellow just at the front. Very gentle. We still want to see that green coming through there. The pastel, sorry about that. And I don't know if that's actually enough drama. So I think I might just, there's not enough contrast there. So I'm just going to add, just to draw our eye in there, I'm going to leave some lovely hard marks. Anytime there's hard lines, our eye goes straight to them, which is exactly what we want in this case. And I think I might just, over that dark, bring in, maybe not, I don't know. I'll just have to wait and see how that one pans out. You can always come back and, you know, if you think, oh, it's not quite right, just zip something else over it. Just make some marks. Make sure they're not all going the same way like I've got going on there either. Sort of make them here and there, change your values. About now would probably be a good time to start taking a photo in black and white, just to make sure that our values are correct and we're on the right track. So I'm just going to zoom back so that we know where our next flower is going to come. It's kind of sitting up here. So I might just, I really love, there's a Rocher pastel that's got a little bit of red in it. And I feel like in those darker sections, it just might add, look at that. Look how rich that is. The pigment is super soft. So don't press hard, whatever you do. But I just feel like maybe just a little bit of that here and there might just add a bit of depth as well. And I'm just sort of looking at this one. I'm going to give it a little bit of a something going on there. And again, you know, it's just ever so gently adding pigment. So these ones here have paper on them, but I can only use the end, which is a menace. I really like to use the whole length of a pastel to get the marks. I think that's the best way for me to get my marks, is by using, you know, this is an ideal size for me. So if you see, when I was demonstrating in France, I had this brand new box of green Giro, and as I was going along, you know, I'm just breaking them, and breaking them in half to make them manageable for me. And in the audience, you know, you'd hear, oh la la, what is she doing? They were having a little panic because I was breaking their beautiful pastels. But for me, this is just the absolute perfect size. Now, there's a little bit too much green in there. So again, this is how I can glaze back just gently without making mud. Use another pastel just to gently fill in those areas. I want that. The reason I'm going in there is I want that super dark there, because when I come to put that beautiful, this one here in, about there, I reckon, and I might just face him to the sun a little bit more. When I put this in, I'm trying to talk and think and do all at the same time, which usually I can do no problem because I do love a good chat. Okay, so I want that to be nice and light over that dark. And this is again where we can start using those beautiful marks. And voila, we've got some gorgeous, interesting marks, if you like. Maybe even, look at this. I just saw that. Let's go back to that really light. Oh no, that's not it. Where is it? Again, the downside to having dirty pastels, but make that a little bud, perhaps. Just something up in there. Okay. Now I really don't know if anyone's there. Okay.
We are here and
You are
we're
here.
still
Good
watching.
job.
I think people just adding up. We have more people when we started. So
Good job. Well, welcome everybody. And I think just getting a little bit, again, that remember the darker side is on this side because we want the light to come through like that. And again, I don't think we're going to have to need too much dark on this. So I reckon we should. I don't know which way to face him. What do you think? Maybe that way. Maybe that way. Does anyone else talk to themselves while they paint? I actually hear myself and I think, who do you think you're talking to? Like, seriously, do you think she's going to answer you? But I don't know. It just sort of, I can problem solve if I problem solve out loud.
Stephie, there is a question from Kath. Hi, Kath and Steph and Callie. Would love to see your palette, Stephie. Do you keep the colors what you are using separate from the studio
Sure.
box?
Let me show you. You're all going to die. Lucky you're all muted. That's what she looks like.
Perfect.
Love it.
I am probably the messiest, most unorganized painter that you have ever met, but I spend so much time with my pastels every day that when I'm looking for a pastel, I can tell which one I want by the shape of it, by the color of it, by like this one here. This is one of my favorite greens, but I know it's got a big chunk out the side. So I know that this is the green that I'm looking for. You know, I don't know, maybe I just keep company with pastels way too much, but that's how I identify my pastels, not by the color, but by the shape. And, you know, there are happy accidents. Thanks, Bob. Sometimes I think I'm picking up a green and I'll pick up a red and people say, why did you put that red there? And I think, well, actually, I thought it was green, but anyway, so I just run with it. So, you know, there's got to be downsides to being a messy artist as well. And then I get to the point where I just can't be bothered to deal with the mess and I clean it all up. So I think we all have our own ways to work and I don't think there's any right or wrong way. Like I've seen some amazing pastelists have filthy studios, and it just brings me so much joy because every now and again I have to have a massive cleanup and tidy my studio up. Now, I don't really like the shape of that one, but that's something that I can always go back in. I'm just going to put a little bit of light because that light's almost on that side, but it's almost like he's reaching for the sun, that one. So, you know, maybe I just need a little bit more dark or something over there. So I'm just going to, what I often do, and I must say this is something that I do probably more often than I should, is if I don't like something, I'll just run something over it to sort of knock it back. And then I can put the stroke that I'm after. I was too busy talking and I put a very bright one and I want quite a pinky kind of one hanging out that way. Anyway, that's kind of what I reckon we should do there. And then I'm going to really introduce that gorgeous deep dark mustard down in here. Sort of going to pull that out. I do love to show I do love to show the daisies in, you know, lots of different states as well. Like I like to show them in their almost finished and, you know, just starting out. and in their absolute prime. So it's a lovely thing to sort of, now I think I'm going to use that, but I will come in with a little bit of that gorgeous yellow in there, and then we can knock that back as well. Because again, have a look at where our lights are going. I feel like maybe I need a little touch of yellow to bring your eye there. All the way through, I'm checking that I've got that in the right spot. And if I don't have it in the right spot, then obviously you go back in and you have another go. And you know, check it out. Now let's just make a few little marks down in here. They're just fillers really at this stage. A little bit of filling, sort of getting our lights and darks attended, and our,
Look like leaves.
yeah, they do. My husband just said they look like leaves. You know, it's a suggestion of. Now, with that gorgeous light again, I'm going to dance your eye around where I want you to look. So I'm really going to start pumping up where I want the viewer to look. Over here, a little bit too busy. So I'm just going to pop a dash, and it is just a dash because I love a good dash of turquoise, just to cool it down and throw your eye. This one's too in focus, so I'm just going to knock him back as well. Pop him back, just push him in. Just take a couple of edges off. It's all it takes sometimes is just one or two edges, you know, take it off, and, or, you know, rub something, run something light over it. Like, where's that? Maybe we want to run a little something over here. We've suggested that there's little buds somewhere. So, you know, we don't just do one, we do them here and there. And yeah, it just fills in those gaps. But we're making decisions the whole time. Dasha, how am I going for time? Am I running too late or?
You're doing good. The
Okay.
total time of the meeting is hour and 20 minutes so far
Okay.
with all the talking. So you're doing fantastic.
Okay. I just want to push that one back. It's going to, you know, just sort of push that right back. I do love that pink. I think I'm going to add some of that around. I think I did up there. So just a little bit of that pink as well. And then
It's like guided meditation.
guided meditation. Oh dear, I think it's probably driving everybody mad. There's it probably looks like there's no rhyme to my reason, but there really is. Now I'm going to come in and just do these little three. Another thing too with any sort of flower is make sure they're not all the same shape and all the same size and all the same direction. So, you know, I have to be super careful that these ones are just that little bit smaller, kind of just working out where I'm going to sit them and, you know, how they're all going to work together, how they all, so that there's a harmony to what I'm doing. So which one comes first? This is where I stop and I look. I have to paint that one before I paint that one, and then I have to paint that one before I paint that one, because you've got to look at where they overlap, where they're coming into the story. And for me, this is painting from the back to the front. And this is probably the number one thing is observe, observe, observe. I want you to look at where you're painting. Look at how it goes, where the light is, what sits where. I think that is super important. If you don't take anything else away, just observe what you're painting. Now, much smaller. He's a little bit in the shadows. He does have a touch of white, but just a gentle little, maybe just here and there. Sometimes with light, I think, less is more. And I think most of you would agree that if you overdo light, you lose the drama. So go to your highlight. Those, you know how you buy sets of highlights. Sometimes I wonder, you know, people think, oh, why would you do that when you've got white? But this is the reason. For me, there's the highlights, they are the star of the show. So for me, it's super important to make sure that we've got that going correctly. All righty. So again, I'm happy with this one. This one's going to overlap a little bit, so that's okay. I do like to put it in regardless because, again, it adds to the depth of what I'm trying to portray. If something's sitting on top of something, because that's how it looks to us in nature. So I kind of feel like we have to be true to what we see. Now, let's just have a look here. Again, just look at where your light is. Look where it's going to be. Before I start choosing my colors, I think, well, that's really in the shadow. This one here, really in the shadow. So I'm just going to whip a few of these around. And I may need to even, oh, definitely, stroke direction is key. I'm just showing you here what not to do. not because I meant to, because I stuffed up. But yeah, otherwise it looks like something a little bit crazy. So this one here, the light is only just hitting these little edges here. But once I'm finished, again, this is sort of where I think things will happen and it didn't happen. So it's a little bit of a shadow under there. I always start darker than I think, and I think this one's going to need to come. I almost want him to come right across this here. So I'm going to paint him quite flat and not just a touch bigger than these ones because I feel like he's just in front of us. Now, this one here just has a touch of light and I'm going to put that in just in case I miss that. I'm going to put that one in now and then I'll paint this one here. So now, where's those lovely greys again? So this one has a little bit more shadow over this way. So we're going to come in with that little bit of periwinkle. But see how it's a different value to that periwinkle. It's just a little bit brighter, which it should be because it's more in the sun. Now, again, I'm not coming in with white. This is just that highlight, nice and small across there. Get this correct. And then that little tiny glow that I put on that back one shines through. And our pastels are just magic, aren't they? They are magic. And then we've got that little one sitting there, just a nice little pink kind of coming over here because we don't want it super bright and then nothing. So I'm going to try and find my Schminky, which is a different shape now because I broke it, which is never good. Yeah, just a couple of, hello. Couple of little bits there. Okay, now I might come in with that super bright and just, I need to step back and assess what we've got going on here and how everything's reading. Okay, now zoom out, always zoom out because otherwise you can get yourself into really deep trouble by painting something that's really not there. Now, I love this. I think this is nature's gift to any floral artist. Look at this. You just pop in something that kind of looks similar in a darker value and then pop a couple of little strokes over here. And again, this is all part of telling the story of the light. Now I need to check where I'm up to with everything. And I reckon maybe we just do a couple of really lovely pink ones. There's not a lot of information in the pink ones. Any questions?
Not at this moment, but there are comments. Joanne loved your palette. Kat saying it's amazing. And Sherry talks to herself and it drives your husband crazy. So
Good job.
here we are.
Isn't that what husbands are for though? To drive crazy. Okay, so just a little bit of detail. I might just pop in another couple of little flowers. What do you reckon? Maybe a little pink one down here. Maybe a little pink one.
Just a second. I was, while you, Steffi, doing that, I was going to share with everybody your amazing Instagram, where you're sharing your work. You
Yeah.
refer to Reels, what you're filming, and you're showing
Yeah.
everything from your progress. It's very generous. So, guys, if you're not following Steffi on Instagram, it's Steffi Clarks.
It's just
so
Clarks,
just
yeah,
look,
at CLARK.
yeah, just look it up.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to learn more from Steffi, she has wonderful, very convenient, everything in one place, link tree. So you can find information about JLuda set, what we presented here. She does Patreon page and monthly Zoom workshops. So if you guys interested, then please share and please check it out. Steffi's website. Let me press on it to show it to you guys. I hope it's steffieclark.net, and you can see a gallery available pastel paintings, find out about upcoming events. And Steffi, yesterday when we chatted, you mentioned something about how you treat the students who come to your house. So that was very interesting conversation. So I would like you to share with our group too.
Yeah, sure. So I have a studio. I'm very lucky to be able to have students in my studio now, which is great. But when I run a workshop or when I do have my students in my studio, one of the things that is super, super important to me is that when people are first trying out pastels, I feel that they need to have a turn at the best of everything to get the results that we get. We use the best quality that we can have. So my theory is, if you're going to introduce somebody to pastel and they've never touched a pastel before they commit, and it is a commitment when you have to admit the cost of things is expensive. So when I offer a workshop or students to my house, I say to them, it's X amount of dollars, and then you come to my house and you use my paper and you use my pastels and you create for a couple of hours. And my oldest student is 91, and she comes to the house every couple of weeks. And I find that if they use the best stuff, they get the best results. Therefore, they are really, there's very few that don't come back, that say, oh, look, I don't think pastel's for me. But it gives, for me, it's about sharing my love of pastel, firstly. And I'm very, very, very lucky that I'm in a position where I can share. Well, I hate the word talent because I think anyone can paint. I really do. But that I can share my love of painting is more valid to me. That I can share my love of painting, but also the gift that I've been given, that I can share my products and my materials, I suppose, with my students. So for me, it's super important when we do have students to put them on the right track and give them a leg up and paint with the best stuff, really. So I reckon, what do you guys think? I think we need a little bit more. So it's a bit hard on Zoom, obviously, but you know, when I do, even in my IAPS workshop, there's some brands that, you know, even really experienced painters haven't had a turn at. And I had, you know, my Gordon Beckons and my J. Luders and my Mammuts and, you know, not your run-of-the-mill kind of pastels, but everybody can have a little turn. You there?
Yes, Stephie, we
Yeah.
are here.
Oh, that's all
and
right. I
have
haven't looked at the camera at all. And then I looked and it was just the emblem, and I thought, uh-oh, maybe I've gone over and the music's come up and they've danced me off.
No, you're doing fantastic and spectacular demo, beautiful, joyful subject, great communicator, instructor. Thank you. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Jen. Thanks, Steph, for beautiful demo. Kat says amazing. So you're doing fantastic. And thank you all guys for spending your Saturday with us. And your husband is in the studio. As you refer to him, the best husband ever. So I remember that from IAPS.
Absolutely. You know, he's my mainstay. He comes with me when I do all my workshops. He's fantastic. And he helped us no end in IAPS. I couldn't have done that workshop without him. He was brilliant.
Zoom user says, love your work. Hello, Zoom user.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But really, look, any of us can do this. It's not exclusive. It's just such a beautiful medium that we have, you know, we're so lucky to have this, everything available to us, aren't we? Now,
Miss
I think
Anna saying thank you. Jerry Greenberg say huge thanks to Stephie. Wendy, fabulous. Thank you, Steph and Dasha. Cheers, Wendy. Kat, thank you so much. It's mesmerizing to watch. Learned a lot. Yes, Stephie is very generous, not just with her knowledge, but as we learned with her pastels. Love that attitude.
Now we just need to quieten some of these areas down, just give us a little bit of breathing space. And now I reckon we could just pop in maybe a dash of that. I'm just not sure. I just need to try a couple of, and thank you everyone for coming to watch us paint. That's lovely. Thank you for giving your weekend or your Saturdays up. No, Saturdays. Is it Friday or Saturday over there?
It's still Saturday. Last time I checked, it was Saturday here.
Saturday.
I
don't know what day it is.
Stephie, it's Sunday. We checked, and you're already spring forward in Australia.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's a bit crazy.
Julie says we're all quiet because we don't want to miss a thing. So thank you, Julie. Yes, I concur.
It's always a little bit. Oh, sorry, Dasha.
No, go ahead. But there is a lot of wonderful comments from Kay Alaska, from Dennis Page, and guys, you are very welcome and thank you for watching. We will upload to YouTube and Instagram. Maybe not Instagram. It's more moving towards the reels, but to YouTube for sure. So make sure you're following our YouTube channel. I'm gonna put a link and stuff. If you are not member and for some reason you decided to join right now, please join Red Rock and you will become a member and be able to participate in all our events and have member advantages and more discount codes. So I think it's all I have to say. Stephie, floor is yours.
Yeah, okay. So I'm nearly done. I just want to quieten off a couple of spots so that we've got somewhere to rest. Again, I would just come back in with you know, the super brights, and just make sure that I've got everything I need and everything is set. And I feel like it's probably is. There's probably a couple of areas I could just go back in and throw a little bit more dark. You know, if you want your eye to rest anywhere, we need a lovely hard line to rest there. So, you know, I go back in and I assess those sort of things. Just have a quick little glance over to make sure that it's not too busy, that your eye's not flitting from here to there, that we do have some sense to it all as well. Like, it's all well and good to be crazy mark making, but you've got to have that sense of light, that sense of peacefulness as well in there. So now is where I would sort of go, oh, yeah, where am I going to sign? Where does it suit? Are the values okay? Let's go back in and you know, put some little highlights. We don't want to do it on every little bouncing spot, but we do need to have the sun really mentioned too. You know, we want to give the viewer a lovely, gentle little soiree through this field. Now, before I go, I will just tell you, and for those who have heard this story before, I apologize, but it is part of my story. My father passed away, and my father was my best friend. Next to my husband, he's the only other man I've ever loved until my grandchildren came along. But my dad never knew that I could paint. I started painting in 2011, and he died in 2003 when he was on holidays up here with us. And it was such an awful, awful shock. So when I started painting, and when Dad died, in my childhood, there was only two people I would ever let me call Stephie, and that was my mum and my dad. And then when Dad died, I was just heartbroken that no one would call me Stephie again. And so when I started painting, I said to my husband, I'm going to be known as Stephie in the art world in memory of my dad. So every painting I do is in memory of my dad. And we're done. So I hope you enjoyed that.
That's a beautiful story.
Are you there?
Yes, we are here. I'm just speechless and reading comments. Jerry says, another beauty. Sherry, love it. Your dad would be proud. Love that petal colors. How lovely. What a wonderful tribute. Very nice comment from Darlene above. Thank you so much. You shared your Sunday morning with us, and Susie says, oh, that's so sweet, Stephie. Your dad must be watching down with such a pride. Everybody is rejoiced.
Thank you so much, everybody. And I really do appreciate you taking your time out to watch me paint, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. So yeah,
learned a lot. I just have enjoyed this so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Wonderful demo. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Absolutely. And thank you for Dasha. Thank you for Dasha to organize it all.
She does a great job.
It's a fantastic job. And yeah, always does a great job regardless. Thank you. I know, I'm sorry. Sometimes I can tell that story and it's no problem. Other times yeah. And yeah, I know he's proud.
Thank you so much, Stephie, for sharing with us. Denise says, teary, loved it. So
Thank you.
What a treat.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining. And Stephie, thank you. Please post.
Look, it was my pleasure, Dasha. Anytime.
It was fantastic. Guys, please stay tuned. Make sure you add us to your contact list so you wouldn't miss email from us. Our news first go to email and after that to our social networks. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Telegram. So
You've got them all covered.
yes. Oh my gosh, it's too much. Please, please, please. I see Sherry looking at me, but go to our Facebook group right now and leave a comment under First Friday. So you can do that for us and you will make Sherry and I very happy.
Yes.
And if you have friends to invite to Facebook group and just encourage them to share their pastel paintings. It's very friendly environment. I'm gonna put link again. If you would like to join Red Rock team, have some time to volunteer or desire to volunteer, and please let me know. Otherwise, see you soon. Thank you so much, Kay, for volunteering today and recording. And
thank you.
thank you so much. We're going to share more news about upcoming shows and workshops. Have a beautiful Saturday and beautiful Sunday, Stephie.
Oh, thank you.
And see you soon in person or on Zoom.
Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Dasha.
Thank you.
Bye.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you
Bye.
for
Keep
coming.
Thanks so
pasteling.
much. It was fantastic.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you all.